Hey everybody, as you can see, I'm a huge fan of Flatout Games and in some cases their partnership with AEG to get these games out to gamers because this is just a really cool company that's putting out some fantastic games. Now, I wanted to show you, I've got them. I've got these games. I'm so excited. And I will say that these little boogers, these small guys, I got Point City and Deep Dive in a pack with Fit to Print just this year. And what I've done is I have ordered like the I guess my favorite or the one I'm going to play more often or more readily on top. So I think Point City replaces Point Salad for me. Like full stop. This is the game that I'm going to pull out when I want to play that kind of cards as one side as a resource or the other side as, in this case, a building or some kind of structure. So this is 1 to 4 players and it's about 15 to 30 minutes a game. This is great. Like I said, it replaces Point Salad for me. It doesn't go up to as many players as Point Salad, but I think that when you have 6 people in a game of Point Salad, it's too long before it gets to you to get your veggies, and then like everything's so different that you can't really plan ahead. So I like Point City, and I like it a little better than Deep Dive simply because Deep Dive is just so lucky. It's just so silly, but it's fun. Like to dive deep and to continue pressing your luck. I love press your luck games. So it was tough for me to put that underneath simply because I enjoy it. I really like the game. But Point City takes the salad away from Point Salad. So with those two kind of out of the way, because you see what I'm doing here. What I'm trying to do is find out, where does Nocturne, this is the preview copy, it's not the finished product, you're going to see some close-ups of it, but just know that they're going to, make a finalized product that has, nicer components and stuff. But the gist is here, the artwork is here, the really cool features are here. So where does Nocturne as Flatout Games' new game fit into my existing lineup? So I've got Cascadia. I want Cascadia. I like Cascadia. I will play this. I will share it. I will enjoy it. It's just my all-time favorite of their games. 1 to 4 players, about 30 to 45 minutes a game. I think this works so incredibly well because you're picking a combination of a disc along with a habitat. So you've got a hex that has a landscape, but then you have a disc that has an animal, and of 4 different pairings, you take one of them. Or you could use some of your extra point little pine cones. I think they're pine cones. Little pine cones. You can pay those to take any 2, 1 hex and 1 animal that you want from any combination that's not together. So there's some nice flexibility. You're building your own habitat, your own climate with all your animals. There's unique scoring opportunities. I think this is just a great, great game. I mean, it won for a reason, the game of the year. Fit to Print. I had a hard time ordering Fit to Print with Calico, and I'll tell you why. Calico is a lovely strategy game. It is a cozy spatial game, but boy is it thinky. It's a little thinky for me. Like when I want to sit down and play a strategy game that's abstract and it's too thinky, it can get me a little AP. It can get me a little stressed out. I have too many balls in the air with designs and colors and connections, and so I'm building a cozy quilt. I get it. And the little kitty cats are adorable. I love it. Fit to Print can be incredibly stressful for other players. This is a real-time game and it is grab 'em pieces, kind of like you do with Spaceship Galaxy Trucker. You're grabbing spaceship pieces. Here you're grabbing newspaper headlines and grabbing ads, and you're grabbing, above the fold like pictures and photographs and things like that to put onto your newspaper. So the real-time aspect can be paralyzing and stressful for people, but for me, I like it. I just do. I like real-time games. I love timed games. I find them to be just incredibly invigorating, exhilarating. I just love it. So for me, I like the stress and pressure that it offers me. It's about 30 minutes for a game. It says 15 to 30. I'm going to say it's 30 because you have two halves. You've got your front half, then you've got your back half. Actually, three. It's got three. Oh, there's the front page, then the front page gets bigger, and then the back page is like the biggest page. So it's like a Friday, Saturday, Sunday newspaper. So definitely 30 minutes on that, not 15. So I talked about Calico, a little bit too stressful for me in a weird way. I think players might swap these two. And then lastly, I think Verdant is at the bottom. I think that mostly, it says 30 minutes to 45 minutes, 1 to 5 players. I think mostly because that restriction of having to alternate your cards and build your tableau in front of you just feels a little bit too restrictive, and sometimes the cards you need just don't come. And then you really don't get the right shade or the right sun for your plants, and you don't have the right matching spaces next to like chairs and things like that. So I feel like this one can just be, really unfortunate with the luck of the draw. And I think there's ways to mitigate that in Cascadia. Fit to print is just a wild, fun affair. Just look for what you want in the pile and just flip it all over if you want. And then Calico has some restriction and has some, you only have like a handful of those tiles that are out available at any given time. So maybe less flexibility here, and it's a little too strict. So this is my lineup. Where do I fit Nocturne? Now, I will tell you, I'm going to talk a little bit about Nocturne and show you some close-ups of the game so that you can determine if you want to invest in this game. One thing that I really like about it is all the games come in these small boxes. These are really nice size boxes, great artwork, great design, and super, super affordable. I can't believe the cost on these games. It's really, really great. So there are a lot of great things to consider as you figure out, is Nocturne for you? Is it the kind of game that will fit your group and that will really fit your personality? But I will get to where I place Nocturne in my list at the end of this video, so stay tuned to the end. In Nocturne, players are casting spells, which look like these discs that have numbers on them, and they're casting these spells as they walk through this forest of a grid of a variety of tiles. For instance, there might be a firebird feather, or there might be a cursed treasure chest. And they are placing these spells out in snake-like fashion, orthogonally adjacent to the previously cast spell. And players are going to go in turn order, casting a spell that is higher than the previously cast spell. The cool thing is that you have a star spell, and the star is a trump spell that gives it to you automatically. So if you want to spend it, you only get to use your 1 spells once per round. There are 2 rounds in the game. The first round is your twilight round, and then there is an interim kind of scoring. And then there is a moonlight round, and that's the second half where you reset the grid and you reset this kind of fairy spirit area where players are going to hopefully be able to nab up some tiles that they weren't able to get in the forest with their normal player action. And this is all about pecking order, having the highest number going down to the lowest. And so one player might actually get more of these tiles over here, depending on how many tile discs of those spells they sent over here to the fairyland. So there's some lovely, lovely mechanics in this game. Players also have a character that they are playing, and it gives them 1 icon towards earning these potions or spells that they are trying to craft themselves. So they're going to have these elixirs, and they require things like eggs and little skull faces and little herbs, little green herbs. And if they can get that with the symbols that they have on their tiles and perhaps with their character card, they will earn those points. But you can't double up. Essentially, what you need on these potions, you can only use 1 of from your tile. You can't reuse the same symbol to get more and more of those potions. And characters have a special ability that's unique if you want to play in the advanced version, or they just simply offer you a resource without the bonus ability in a base game. So the game will play until the round will play until all of the tiles are gone or until everyone has passed, essentially saying, I don't want anything that's left here in the forest. And then that's when that twilight round is going to end. And in the Twilight goal, there are these public objectives that are taken when earned or at the end of the round. And in the Moonlight round, there are public objectives that everybody can earn, that you have the possibility of getting even if your opponent gets it as well. So there's no nabbing those with majority or priority in like the first round. That's what happens in the first round. These potions work really interestingly too, because there is a top row in most of them. And if you get what's in the top row, you get the points to the right. If you get everything on the card, including the bottom row and the top row, you get the bottom points. So they are a little bit of get small points if you get a little bit, but you can get more points if you get more of those symbols. And all these symbols show up on the actual tiles that are in the forest. Now there are set collection tiles like the Firebird. The more you get, the more they're worth. There are also set collections with the green tiles that have different unique letters on them. The more unique ones you get, 3, 4, or 5, you're going to earn more points. Plus, you'll earn the points that are on the tile themselves. The person who has the most of the mysterious eggs will earn 4 points for each of their eggs. The skulls are just simply victory points. The mushrooms, there are 2 different types of, and they are going to score based on sets or based on pairs, and it depends on which of the mushrooms you get. There are also going to be drawing ways to draw potions and ways to draw more tiles. Really cool. They're fun, they're interesting, they're clearly labeled. You don't have any confusion about how the tiles work, but they work a lot like in any kind of set collection with unique different sets of things, and I just liken it to Sushi Go. If you've played Sushi Go, then you will absolutely understand how these tiles work. Now the game is all about anticipating what your opponents are going to want, how well they're going to place their spells, how they're going to cast their spells out, and then where that's going to leave you as a player. And so do you want to play really hard and fast and play your big ones early and then kind of leave yourself weak towards the end of the round, but you got what you wanted? Or do you want to kind of save what you've got, really press people, and then when you want to, drop the hammer down and place those big spells out? It's just a fascinating play. And the player who wins will turn their disc over, leaving it in the grid and not able to play with that disc again. Everybody else will take their discs back, whichever ones they used. Now along the way, they're allowed to drop them off at the fairy spirit land, and that's where you get the pecking order of getting tiles at the end of the round. So there is a consolation prize for not winning, but it depends on if you want to actually take it or not. You may not want to send your 6 out to the spirit land because it's too big and you really need it to win something that's out on the board. It's entirely up to you. Plus, what you use, you might win, and you may not want to actually spend it, but you're trying to just raise the price or hike the price for your opponents. So just some really lovely stuff here. And again, those goals, you select 3 of for each Twilight and Moonlight, and there are a lot that you will shuffle through selecting 3, which means that every game is going to be different. Your goals are going to be different. And the layout of all the tiles in the forest are going to be different as well. So while it looks like there's a lot to score when you look at the little score sheet, it's because there are a variety of tiles. You've got your goals for both of the first phase and the second phase of the game, in the Twilight and the Moonlight rounds. You get victory points for remaining discs that aren't used in that second turn. And if you didn't use your special ability on your really cool player card, you're going to receive 2 points. So that is Nocturne. If you want to see me actually play the game, you can check out, and I'll put in the description, the link to my run-through that is a follow-up of the second round of Nocturne to Richard at Rado's channel, his run-through of the first round, which is the Twilight round. And you can go and check it out and watch us in action and just really hear how much strategy and how much thought it takes to play this open bidding snake game, which I really, really enjoyed. So now it's time for you to check out where Nocturne stacks up next to all the other Flatout Games games. Okay? It's now time for me to squeeze Nocturne into my list. Where do I want to put it? I really enjoy so many things about this. It's super unique compared to what's going on here in these various games that they've already done so far. Do I like it more than the real-time fit to print? Do I like it more than the puzzly, spatial abstractness of Calico? Is it above Verdant? Do I put it below Verdant? Am I going to put it above Cascadia, the game that I really enjoy the most? Where am I putting this? Let's see here. I think I'm going to squeeze. I feel like it's the yodeler in the Price is Right. Is that is like ooh, right? We're gonna like try to fit it in and hopefully not go over the edge. I am gonna squeeze Nocturne right here. I really, really, really liked Nocturne. I think there's a lot to like with that open bidding, with the open information. I love it. I love the back and forth. If I do this, then they're going to do that. Then they're going to walk over here, and then I can maybe do a, corner casting, or I can do a really cool thing, and then I can start the next time. You're looking out at what's going on in the fairy area if you want to go and like pay tribute to the spirits over there. I think it's just a really, really strong game. I still think Cascadia takes it for me. That's the game I'm going to share with players, and if they want a little bit more strategy, if they want a different type of game, and I want to challenge them, we're pulling out Nocturne. Fit to print for all my real-time gamers, that's the first one I'll pull if you really want to, because I will play this every time. The reason it's in the middle is because it's hard to get out on the table if you don't have that group that really enjoys that. I think the 1 to 6 is amazing. I love that it goes to 6. This only goes to 5, 4, 4, and 4. So this is my final stackums, starting at the top, going all the way down. Thank you for joining me in my overview of Nocturne and where it fits into the Flatout Games lineup of just dynamite games. All right, everybody. I'll see you later.